Hey True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with a double review. We are going over the Marvel Legends Daredevil Spider Build-A-Figure Wave, as well as the Infinite Series Hobgoblin Wave Daredevil. This one I want to give a shout out to Mutant at Large. Thank you so much for sending this to me. I appreciate it so much. I made a comment on the hand Build-A-Figure Wave that we went over. I said if anybody had the red Daredevil that they were willing to part with, Mutant at Large messaged me and said that he had one that he was willing to part with. So thank you so much. It looks great in my collection, and I'm so happy to have it, and I'm so thankful to you for sending it to me. Now, as you can see, both Daredevils look awesome. We don't have the box for this one, so we're going to set him aside real quick, and we're going to go over the Spider Build-A-Figure Wave Daredevil real quick. If you guys want to pick either of these figures up, first and foremost, as I always say, support your local comic shop or wherever it is that to pick up figures and comics and see if they have this wave in stock, because both of them at the time of this recording are sold out on the regular online spots. I did see that they are available on Amazon, but they are pricey, and I'm just kind of like, nope. So I'm glad for what I have in my collection. You see the cool Daredevil logo there, and we get the 2015 Charles Schulz run Daredevil logo there. Spider Build-A-Figure thingamajigger there. Love that red design there, especially with the red highlight to kind of signify his radar sense. Very cool. Come around to the back. Product shot looks absolutely amazing, especially the way they kind of made his sense just kind of come out like so. I'll get a close-up on the read-up so you can check that out at your convenience, as well as the figures from the wave. Come back around this way, get the same gorgeous artwork there. Nothing really on the bottom. So with that said, let's get both of these figures out and let's start taking a look and see how awesome both of them are. Now here's the Devil of Hell's Kitchen out of the packaging, and both of them, when you start to pose them, look absolutely exquisite. I love both iterations. I kind of wish that I had the Daredevil yellow up here because that was his original style, but having a red and the black designs here, I'm so excited to be able to put these in my collection and just know that I have them, because I love the man without fear. So now we've had a moment to gush. Let's go further in the detail on both of these action figures. Quick backstory on Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, aka the Devils of Hell's Kitchen, aka the Man Without Fear. He was created by Stan Lee, Bill Everett, with input from Jack Kirby. He was solidified as an influential part of the Marvel Universe by Frank Miller with his tenure on the title during the 80s. His first appearance was Daredevil #1 from April 1964. Matt gained his abilities by saving a blind man from being struck by an oncoming truck. He's blinded by a radioactive substance that falls from the vehicle. The exposure heightens his remaining senses beyond normal human limits and gives him a radar sense, enabling him to detect the shape and location of objects around him. Now, on a quick side note, Kevin Eastman was inspired by Frank Miller's work. His homage was making the same radioactivity that fell from the truck be the same mutagen that rolled into the sewers, creating Splinter and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that Matt's father was battling Jack Murdock. He found it hard to support his son on boxing alone and ended up making an agreement with a local mobster named Roscoe Sweeney, known as the Fixer. The Fixer wanted Jack to take a dive, but doesn't, because his son Matt is in the audience rooting him on and he doesn't want to let him down. So this leads to his murder. Now, Matt builds his body physically and begins training with his blind sensei Stick, the leader of the Chaste, who trained also Elektra Nachios. After college, Matt becomes a lawyer to avenge his father's death, as well as taking on the criminal element in Hell's Kitchen. This black suit Daredevil he was originally possessed by the Beast. Once he returned to Hell's Kitchen from San Francisco, he returned to wearing a dark gray suit with some red highlights similar to the Shadowland look at the beginning of Charles Soule's 2015 run on the title. Now, speaking of, I hope that Hasbro eventually gives us a Samuel Chung figure who becomes Matt's apprentice during this time. His codename was Blind Spot. Now, it's kind of a quick glance over Daredevil's history. It is long and rich. He has a love interest with Elektra, and right now Elektra actually became Daredevil, and we're supposed to get her figure here pretty soon. So once that comes in, I will go over it. But make sure to go read this series, starting with definitely Frank Miller, then working your way around. It'll help you get a really well-known sense of the man without fear. Now, that aside, let's talk about the accessories these figures come with. We're going to start with the old school red Daredevil. And now, he came to me loose, which I have no problem with. And just, I kind of wish that the figure, I looked at him in box online, and I wish that they would have given him more accessories. But all he comes with are his sticks. And I believe in the beginning, Stan Lee wanted this to just be his walking cane that became a grappling hook, and what do you call it? A cane that became a grappling hook, and also the beating sticks that we normally get. So I like that they hook together and break apart. The only downfall is it doesn't come with any rope like the newer one does, which we'll go over here in a second. And I kind of wish that they would have made these more metallic or something other than just that matte white. But it is what it is. Now, with the Daredevil red, he also comes with a pair. The downfall, though, is this one does not connect like the other one. This one instead comes with rope, which I wish this was bendy wire. It's molded plastic, and it is what it is. So you only get one shape, and you fit them in like so. Whoop. And so you kind of get a cool grappling thing. But if this would have been bendy wire cape or just some rope in general, I feel like you get a lot better, poses or whatnot, either on a shelf or photography. But it is what it is. It looks good, so I can't complain too much. The Black Daredevil also comes with a pair of boxing fists, which is really cool. It's very akin to him being raised by a boxer. And that, Matt's very much influenced by his father. So those look great. Wrapped with the black knuckles. The red tape just looks awesome, kind of Rocky-esque. And his other gloves are kind of the same because he comes with two fisty hands and then two open hands, as where the red Daredevil only comes with the open hands, which sucks, but it is what it is. And you gotta remember that the Infinite Series 1 is a lot older. So paint app wise, now that we've kind of gone through the accessories, I'm glad that they made sure to give them both the red eyes, because that's just, the lenses on Matt's mask. But I love it on the black outfit because you get all this black and then you get that red. It's more predominant as we're on this one. And this is just in general because his suit's always red and he has the red lenses. So you have to be, when you're doing the comic, you have to very much make his eyes pronounced. I love the radical, I always call it the rad DD, because it's just like, zoom, zoom. Just a very cool design. And of course the original Daredevil on his chest of the original figure is cool too. And another reason why I was drawn to Charles Soule's design during 2015 was, again, he has that boxer wrap on his arms, as were the when when Daredevil started out in the 60s, he started out yellow, and then a couple of issues later, he turned to red. So, you got to kind of forgive the 60s for just kind of having a basic design. So I thought this was kind of a really cool, radical way to change him, especially kind of giving him more of the combat boots instead of just the regular boots there. I don't know. I was a little disappointed that they went back to this look, but, Marvel can never, the big two in general can never really make up their mind on what they want their characters to look like, so they always end up defaulting as where I thought this was a really cool way to just kind of show that Matt's back and he has a whole different look after coming back from San Francisco, because that was a whole thing that I just did not care about. Moving on to articulation. We'll start with the Black Daredevil. Head range that way, head range up. Burp, burp. And you have a little bit of play, not a lot, but a little bit. That makes me think of 50 Cent. Arms go up. And of course, this way, this way. And as I say, guys, always warm up your figures. Every figure that I always get starts out very tight, and I have to put them in front of a space heater for a little bit, and they finally loosen up. Upper bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow. The one thing on both these Daredevils that I wish that they would have given him, since Spider-Man and Daredevil are always super bendy, is I wish they would have given him a butterfly joint, because just like Spider-Man and all them, he has those jumping, bendy poses, and that would have just been great to have that range of motion. So I'm a little disappointed that both of them end up with, because they have the hole here, the Bucky cap mold, they both, I think they're made from the same one, just repainted with some extra stuff. So it's just kind of like, well, way to go, guys. You got this black Daredevil. Could have given him a great butterfly joint, but instead we're stuck with that same crap. Whatever. 360 on the arm. Of course, the wrists spin. Hand go up, hand go down. Ab crunch, not so much that way. Not so much that way. Go out that far. That far. Of course, the Hasbro butt flap stops you there. Upper thigh cut. Double jointed knees. Boot cut, thankfully. Foot go up. Foot go down. Ankle rocker go pivot, pivot. This Daredevil, kind of the same as the first. That way, that way, that way, that way. This one's a little bit more loose. You get a little more play in the head there. And again, the butterfly joint. Freaking butterfly joint. Anyway, that way, that way, that way, that way. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Double jointed elbow. Hand go back. Hand go around and spinny, spinny. Ab crunch goes a little bit further than the black one. Not so much on the back, of course. He's spinny. I forgot to say that. He also spinny spinnies too. Legs that far. Legs that far. Butt flap stop you. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees. Foot go down. Foot go up. Rocky, rocky. Now, one thing on both these figures I forgot to talk about in terms of the accessories that's really cool is I appreciate that their canes do fit, so they at least get that weapon storage. Now, with the black one, what sucks is the fact that there's nowhere to put that rope. I mean, it's, as I said, it's big, it's molded. You're kind of just stuck with it, so it is what it is. And I do kind of thankful that they differentiated these two. Instead of giving you the same white ones like the original, they gave you some red ones. Now, the other thing too is I hate how this is loose. I mean, it's cool if you need to adjust it, but it's so frustrating when you're trying to do something and it goes bloop. It's like having a loose sock and it just falls down on you all day. That's kind of how I feel with having these loose accessories like that. It's just like, chap my ass. But nonetheless, setting that aside, paint apps, for the articulation you get, you can't complain too much. The butterfly joint's probably my biggest bitch, but other than that, being able, for what we have after you warm them up, they do have a great range of motion, so whether you're going to put them on a shelf or do some figure photography, you're going to have a great time with both of these figures. Now here's Matt, next to some of the characters from his life that he's come across. This is the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure Wave Paladin, the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure Wave Bullseye, the fellow Spider Wave mate Elektra, and then of course Wade here. He just demanded that he come on and show off that bloody axe from the the Violator review that we did a while back. So put all of them together on a shelf, guys. They're gonna look great, especially if you're gonna do action figure photography. Every single one of these Marvel Legends is gonna scale and look great together. They're comic book accurate and it just beautiful in their own way. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have like Mafex and then McFarlane's kind of coming up in terms of the way figures look, but still Hasbro has its charm in giving us our Marvel characters, and having all of these set before me like this, I cannot wait to get them in front of the camera and start taking some really cool action figure photography poses. What do y'all plan on doing with your Daredevil figures? Let us know down in the comments, and we'd love to see either your displays or your action figure photography over on our social media pages. I thoroughly enjoyed both of these Daredevil figures. I've had this one for a minute, and of course, thank you Mutant at Large For this figure, I love having both iterations of the Man Without Fear. Eventually, I might break down and get a Daredevil yellow, but for the time being, just to have these two and to see how posable they are for what you can do with them, I can't complain too much. They're bendy, they look great. You can get some awesome recreations of comic book covers and comic book panels and whatnot. You guys are going to have an absolute amazing time with both of these figures. Speaking of, if you have enjoyed them, please, first and foremost, as I said at the beginning of the review, support your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to pick up your figures and grab both or whichever one they may have. And as I said at the beginning of this review, they're sold out. You're going to have to go to the secondary market. Amazon's asking quite a bit for a few of them, so I hope that you guys can get a deal if you come across either or both of these. Now, if you've enjoyed the review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Man Without Fear bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading. Photo slideshow coming up next, and happy hunting, true believers.